Hello. Okay, I think I'm live after 5 million, after a bunch of different technical issues. I don't know what the heck was going on, but we are back and everything's good. So yeah. So yeah, it's Monday, it's October 20th, and a lot of things happen. So let's just start at the the beginning of the day. So, um, first, I got a ton of work done, which was great. Then I ended up going to the dog park before one of my meetings, and I had to rush back. My meeting started at 10. I came in the door at 10. I was zipping home. And yeah, I was stressing out just a little bit. So, but I made it on time. And but while I was at the dog park, this is the reason why I was almost late to the meeting, was because I was there and I was talking to this lady. She had a little dog, like a dachshund type dog, and the dog ran up to play with Zazio, and it's a girl, and she was just so happy and playful and almost just kind of overwhelmed him, and he's one, so he has a lot of energy. So this little dog, I was thinking, okay, she must be a puppy or something, like two or something. And the lady's like, oh no, she's about 11. I was like, what? 11? That's crazy. And then the lady's talking and she was saying that she's lived, in the area for about 50 years. I was like, 50 years is crazy. And she was like, yeah, I got married and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, how long have you been married? She was like, 60. I've been married about 60 years. I was like, so you got married when you were a baby? And she was like, no, I'm 80. I was like, huh? I was gonna say 60 or something. And she was like, oh, I take that as a compliment. But it was inspiring because I was like, I want to be like that, taking my dog to the park at 80 years old, and I think her husband was waiting for her in the car. And I don't know, I just thought it was really sweet. And we talked for a while. And, she was telling me her dad's from Germany. And so she has kind of like a German name. And then she was talking about her sister's rescue and all that. And so I don't know, I really like going to the dog park because you always meet different people. Sometimes I don't like meeting people when I go out. Sometimes I just want to chill. But it was just really nice to talk to somebody and just hear their story. And I told her I was from Idaho, and she was like, oh, I love Idaho. And she was like, it's so pretty. And I was like, oh, you've been to Idaho? She was like, well, no, I bought a book about Idaho though. I was like, oh, okay. But it was just really sweet. And then Zazo needed his shots and his vaccinations and all that. So we did that after the meeting during my lunch, and so that went okay. And I almost used that as an excuse to not go to the gym because I was going to be like, well, I gotta watch Zazio for, a bad reaction to some of his vaccinations, so I won't be able to make it today. But I did not use that as an excuse. I went to the gym and it was good. I've been eating a lot of pie and ice cream, which is definitely not good. And so it was good to just kind of work out, um, and get a full body workout in. I was shaking at the end, felt like I was going to die. But now that I'm home, I feel good. So I really do want to keep that up. So a couple of realizations that I've had, and that is, um, I'm very good at noticing other people's flaws and equally good at noticing how I have those same flaws. Um, One thing I will notice is, when people will say things like, oh, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that, and, maybe they don't follow through, or things like that. And I'll and I'll be watching what they say and then what they do, and I'll be like, what they say and what they do doesn't really line up. And I could go on a whole preachy rant about it. But the reality is, I do the same thing. How many times have I said I have a different channel? And how many times, well, a lot of times, I'll just tell you, it's a lot of times. I will start a live stream, like a live stream series where I'll be like, I'll be streaming live every day between this hour. One time I was waking up at like midnight to stream. No, it was like 1 in the morning. Was waking up at ridiculous hours to stream. And I'm like, I'm gonna wake up this time and I'm gonna stream and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna start a whole thing. And guess what would happen? Guess what would happen? I would do it for 2 days and then I quit because I was too tired or I got busy or I got distracted and I just quit. And it's so easy for me to look at somebody else and be like, oh, they said they were going to go to the gym and then they quit after a week. Shame, shame, shame. But then I look, I'm like, wait a second. I did that too. And it's true. I do, you know. And then, so just having that realization, I had that realization today, um, because it's like, I started going down one of my I don't want to say rants, but one of my moments where I'm like, this person's saying things and they're not following through, and then it's like, I can almost like feel the Holy Spirit tugging on me saying, Lizzie, you do the same thing. Stop judging. And so I really take those moments instead of looking at that other person that I'm, silently judging, and start judging myself by that same measure. And then I have nothing to speak to because I have the same problems. Um, so that was another reason I was just feeling inspired to just follow through, going to the gym, for example. I came back from the gym probably, uh, well, we got out an hour ago, so I've been back for like the last 30 minutes, and here I am sitting down at a stream, but it's like it's hard, getting up, working all day, being mentally tired because my job's not physically demanding, it's like more of a mental thing. Like it expends all of your brain power. And so being drained and then having to go to the gym, work out, then be physically drained, and then have to come and sit down and do a live stream for about an hour or something. And then so then you're mentally drained, you're physically drained, and then you just end up talking a lot. So then it's like, well, I'm done. I'm done. So then, doing that every single day for a week, it is gonna be exhausting. And so, yeah, but it's something, what my coach will say is like, you have to push yourself because, if you don't, who else is going to? And really, who else is going to? Who's going to sit there and be like, you can do it, keep going? Who's going to do that for you? Maybe some people. Maybe there's people out there that are going to push you, but at the end of the day, you have to push yourself. Sometimes when we're doing AMRAPs or we're doing, some intensive part of the workout, we have to basically race against ourselves. We're not racing against the time or anybody else. We have to beat ourselves and push ourselves and challenge ourselves. And it's hard, especially when your legs are wobbling and your arms are shaking and you feel like you can't do that one last I don't know, DB thruster. I don't even know what garbage we were doing today. It was ridiculous. We did 3 whole sessions of it. It was terrible. I honestly felt like I was gonna die, but maybe I shouldn't be eating so much pie in my spare time. So that's my fault. But um it's hard, it's hard showing up, but that's one area of my life that I definitely need to keep showing up and not use little things as an excuse. Because last week I didn't go to the gym at all. And there was one day where I had a good reason, But the rest of the days, I had no good reason. There was no good reason not to go. And so, but I had an excuse because I had an excuse. And, excuses are all well and good, but at the end of the day, the only person that I'm hurting in that is myself. And the only thing I'm doing is standing in between the person I want to be and um and uh and who I am, and I'm just hurting myself. So, um yeah, I don't know. Then the other thing was when I came home, well, I was driving home and I was listening to this song about Charlie Kirk. And I used to listen to him um a lot. I would say a lot, but I knew who he was, and I did listen to him, and he's a great speaker, just a great guy, and um a great role model of how you want to be as a Christian, standing up for your faith to the point of, getting killed. And it's like he showed up every single day to debate hateful, honestly, hateful, evil people. Some people confused, some people just maybe looking for answers. I'm not going to put everybody in that box of evil, but a lot of the people, just real um just going face to face with really demonic entities residing in the form of people. And he went face to face with that every single day to speak truth. And it's like he showed up every single day to the point where he couldn't anymore. And then I put that in, and so I was listening to this song in the car, and um and then I'm like, it just kind of hit me for a second. It was like someone can show up every single day, even when it costs them their life. And so if that is the case, then why can't I show up in the market here with um with only some money on the line? And really, that's all that's on the line. Let's say I lose this account, right? Let's say I don't pass, it's whatever. What's going to happen? Really? What's going to happen? Okay, my account gets reset next month on the 7th and we have to start all over again. So, really, how has that hurt me? How has it hurt me? Um because here's the thing. If I can't show up here when there's just a little bit of money on the line, when it comes to little things like this, if I can't show up and be faithful every single time and be like, okay, here we go, right? And trust God, if I can't do that in something as small as, risking $50, or maybe you're risking 1,000, but in the grand scheme, it's still a very small amount. If I can't do that in the smallest of things, then why, and I mean why, do I think that I'm ready for something bigger than that? How am I supposed to stand up and preach God's word and be bold in my faith if I can't even show up in a little thing like this? So this trading is not just about making money. It's about showing up with faith every single time, every single trade, even when there's no trade, showing up with faith every single time. And the reason why I love this time is because I can sit here, I don't know, I can recount what happened in the day, what I learned, what spoke to me, what revelations I had. We could read God's word, we could pray, we can do all of that stuff. And it's really just, not only is it just setting aside an hour to look at the charts, right? it's setting aside an hour to just talk about like my relationship with God and doing some deep reflection. And so that's why I hope, no, not hope, this is going to stick. Even though I say that a lot, but hey, it's got to. So yeah, um, like I said, if I can't show up, if I can't show up when things are, if I can't show up in something as small as this, then how am I supposed to show up when things really get heated? So, what we're looking at here, what are we looking at? Well, the market may be tipping over, but I don't really care. Anyways, I'm like, I don't care. I just want my setup to happen. So if we get up to, what do we have to come up to? If we get up to 38, 6, no, sorry, 386. So if we get up to 386, we shall enter. Yeah, right there. So yep, that's where we have to go in order to enter a trade. Anyways, but yeah, it's like if I can't show up in the little things, how am I going to be trusted with bigger things? Not going to happen. So, so yeah, it's about having faith and just showing up, honestly. Oh, there is my entry. Okay, we're buying in. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. I am going to put my stop losses down here. 40. I think we want to be at 2. That's where we want to be. Okay. Feeling a little anxious. Yay. But yeah, that was my entry right there. So, what was I even saying? Oh, right. Um, so yeah, it's like if you can't show up in the small things, then how are you supposed to show up in the big things? So, um, so yeah, anyways, what was I even talking about? So, that's just kind of where my head's at right now, is just trying to show up in the small things. Things like entering trades even when it's scary and you don't want to lose, but sometimes you have to. Um but setup happened, so we entered. The end. And yeah. So yeah, what's going on now? So we're probably going to be on until 8:30, and then we'll get ready for bed. Um oh, and I forgot. Did I read my verse of the day? That's another thing we can do because yeah, so there's this one. Um so it says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast." And here's the thing. When life is going good, it's easy to be like, "Oh, yeah, I did that," right? If a trade is going good, it's easy to be like, "Oh, yeah, I saw that setup. I executed with perfection." It's easy to pat yourself on the back. Very easy. But honestly, um, everything in life, and I mean everything in life, is a gift from God. You wake up in the morning, you're still breathing, still alive. Guess what? Gift from God. And the thing is, it's very easy to get caught up in feeling proud and accomplished. But that's the thing. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit, something, something. I don't know the exact verse, but pride goeth before the fall. It does. You're prideful, and what happens? you get taken down a notch, you get taken down a level. And, sometimes I feel like I need that. There was a time in my life where things were going well, what I thought they were going pretty good. But the reality was they were not. I mean, from a spiritual perspective, they were not. My spirit was starving. It was starving for connection with God. It was starving for just all of those things that the world can't give you, right? That money can't give you. And so, um, what was I saying? Yeah, I was starving, but my flesh was feeling good. My flesh was being fed every single day, but my spirit starving, absolutely starving. And the sad thing is that well, I wouldn't say sad. It was a good thing. The good thing is it took losing, and I mean losing everything in order to really gain it all. And when you think about it, I had to lose everything in order to gain it all. Um, and so, yeah, I may not I may not be before if let's say this account was just gone and in a second, let's say it blew past my stop loss, it just smashed everything, it destroyed me, okay? Guess what? I probably could have gone and bought another account. I could have probably bought 5 more accounts, although Top Step does not let you do that anymore. But I could have, from a financial perspective, I could have. But guess what? Now I'm in a place where I have to actually be like, okay, I can't. Oh wait, that was my exit right there. Um, oopsie. Why do you do this to me? Okay, so that was my exit. So I took 1 brick. Let's um and thank the Lord for that. Thank you, Lord. That could have gone either way. I'm happy. Anyways, so yeah, there was the entry right here, and then there's your exit right there. But anyways, let's minimize. Well, it came all the way back down. Why, hello. Hello, friend. Um, but yeah. So anyways, what was I even saying? Was I talking about what I lost? I don't know, but it took losing a lot in order to gain um what really mattered. And so, yeah, I was talking about how I used to be able to just buy accounts like it was nothing. Yeah, I used to be able to, but I can't now. But that's not a bad thing. It's okay. It's okay. I don't I can yes, is it suck a little bit like, "Oh no, I wish I could." Sure. Sure. I wish I could have multiple accounts, but the reality is maybe it's better to go slow. Maybe it's better to go slow. Maybe it's better to slow down just a beat. So, so yeah, I can't be mad about it. And honestly, um, I'd rather, I'd rather do this methodically than recklessly. And before I was being very reckless. I had, money just pouring in. I didn't even think about it. I could buy whatever the heck I wanted and I didn't think about it, right? My savings account was padded, my spending account was draining. It was money was flowing in and flowing right out. And that's I didn't care, I didn't care. I was giving a lot of stuff away too, but I didn't really value what I was giving. Like it had no, it's kind of like when the woman who what's that story of the woman um who gave like her last mite, and then was it Jesus who was like, this woman gave more than everybody else? Let me look up that story. The story of the woman who gave um her last coin. See, okay, Mark 12. Oh, it's in Luke 2. Um, so it says Mark 12:41 through 44. Let's look that up. go here. Wait, actually, just search it right here. Mark 12, 41, 44. So search Mark 12, 41 to 44. Oh, look, I have Bible.com. Well, actually, I have the app. Okay. Yeah, the widow's offering. So Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor woman or a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." You know, I don't know what happened to this widow, but I hope she was blessed exponentially um in her life because think about that, you could be a millionaire and putting in thousands of dollars, right? But it's like you have millions. It means nothing to you. You're just like, yeah, here you go. Here you go, right? It means a lot more when it's coming from a place when it's coming from a place of intention, right? Because just arbitrarily giving just to give, like, okay, here you go, here's some money. Here's my 10%. It's cool. It's fine and all, but that's what I was doing. I was giving to multiple like organizations, probably a couple of different organizations. I think I was tithing to a church. I didn't even go to that church. I mean, I went a couple of times, but it was like, and then I was giving money to family members, and I was just giving, like, oh, this is fun, cool. But I was giving out of a position of wealth. I was giving out of a position of, oh, I don't, it's not hurting me, so here you go. But I don't know. Um, Now that I'm in a position where, yeah, giving does hurt, it it hurts a little bit more to give. Oh, it definitely does. But the giving hasn't stopped. It's just more conscientious, right? I'm not giving to futile things arbitrarily, like somebody's dream for whatever. They're like, oh, I'm going to start a business doing blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, sure, here you go. Here's a couple grand. It's all good. Now I'm being more conscientious to what I give to, but also, it's hard because I have this church that I'm tithing to, and right now the church, I don't know. It's like they support this, well, what happened there that like jumped. It's probably a bunch of selling opportunities that I missed. Crap. Anyways, yep, there was one right there. It's fine. It's totally fine. I don't care. It's fine. But no, what was I saying? Yeah, there's this church, but they support some other multi-million dollar pastors that I don't support. Because it's like, why? Like you're supposed to be a pastor, and I don't know, like, I don't know. I always kind of frown on pastors who are multi-millionaires. Like, what? Um, and so, yeah, I don't know. It's like they're getting, where is this money coming from? It's coming from the tithe, but it's like people, yes, it's supposed to help you live, but not to buy private jets. Like when I tithe money, kind of like taxes, if I'm tithing, right, I'm wanting that money to go to helping people in the community. Yes, keeping the lights on. Yes, paying for, the bills that are necessary. Yes, allowing, the pastor and the people that serve full time to be able to live off of that money as well. Yes, but if you're driving around, no, 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 no. If you're driving around in a G-Wagon, I don't really know what that is, but I've just heard it and I think it's a fancy car. If you're driving around in a G-Wagon and you're flying around in a $65 million jet plane, and I'm talking about a specific person. If all that stuff's going on, and meanwhile, I'm over here struggling to pay my bills, and pastor that I'm tithing my money to, the pastor of the church, is living in a $10 million mansion. There's a problem with that, and there's a really big problem with that. And there's a lot of like mega church pastors that are millionaires, millionaires. And it's like, why aren't those millions going to help people like that actually need it? I don't know. So the church I was giving to, I realized they support two pastors, two or three actually, big name pastors that are multimillionaires. And it's just like, okay, well, now I don't feel comfortable. So it's like, how do you know, like, I don't know, how do you know when to give to the church and when to be like, okay, maybe not so much. I don't know. I don't know really. So trying to find out. And also, I don't really have a home church. That's the other problem because I don't like the big mega churches because it all feels like it's a bit one giant performance. And it is. It's very performative. And it's like, oh, you gotta create the experience of worship, the experience of the, which is fine. I guess some people connect with that, but I like smaller, more intimate churches where it's about really being a disciple. So I really crave that. But then also, I don't like small churches because then everybody knows each other and then they want to talk to you. And I don't like talking to people. So there's that problem, which I need to get over. Um, where was I going with my ramblings? Nobody knows. Um, but yeah, so that's just kind of where I'm at spiritually. I want to find a church. I want to find a church that I can tithe to and that I can give to responsibly, knowing that I'm not just arbitrarily just throwing money at something, but I'm actually giving to a specific cause and I know that it's going to help people, because that's what I think is what's important. And I think I'm more conscientious of that instead of just randomly throwing money at people or like, here you go, here's a couple grand, but buy what you want, buy yourself something nice, instead of that, I I just really value quality and I value um that connection that the gift is actually being received by who it's supposed to be received by. And I don't think I ever really prayed about that, before when I had money. I didn't really pray about um what to give to or who to give to. I just was like, well, just give to anybody. It counts, right? So that's something I really need to find a church to be honest. So yeah, that what was I reading? Yeah, so I read that the story of giving. Yeah, so it's better to give. It's about your heart, right? At the end of the day, it's about your heart when you're giving, because if your heart is just like, yeah, I'm just doing it just cause, I have the money, so here you go, whatever. It doesn't hit the same as, you know, actually having to reach down into the dusty pockets and pull out, your last what you could have used to, pay for a bill and being like, okay, this is what I reserved for God and it's not going to that bill because I already reserved it for God. And yeah, it hurts. And yeah, you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. But it feels a lot better. Actually, no, wait. It does feel better, but also sometimes it doesn't feel better. Sometimes doing the right thing doesn't always feel great in the moment, but it's better, trust me. So back to the original verse, which was, um, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not through your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. And that's Ephesians 2:8-9. That's the ESV. Um, but yeah, it's like, um, everything that we have in this world is by the grace of God. Um and so I really try to take time in the morning to reflect on that, because I used to not. And like I said, I had to lose everything in order to that's what I was talking about. Yeah, I had to lose everything to really appreciate who it was coming from, because before it was like, oh, my paycheck's coming from the government. Yeah, no, it's coming from God. So, and if you listen to my stream, my previous stream, I was talking about how, I'm still working. I just got word that a bunch of people got laid off at and you want to know what the funny part is? Not that they got laid off, but the funny part is I was supposed to work for this office within my department, agency, whatever. I was supposed to work there. That's what I was told before my interview. And then when I got hired on, they were like, "Oh no, you're with this part. You're like with the main headquarters office or whatever." And I was like, I thought I was supposed to be with this office. This office sounds cooler. Guess what? A bunch of people just got furloughed from that office today. So, yeah, not great. Anyways, um, yeah, so it's almost 8:30. I'm probably just gonna pop on some music or something, and yeah, just let this continue, because that was a trade. As you can see, this was a trade setup that happened, and it was actually a good setup. Would have given you two bricks. This one only gave one, and that one only gave one. This one would have given two. And that might be one that you hold for a minute. But I mean, I didn't get in, but that's okay because we got in here. So, did we? Yes, we did. I forgot. So, yeah. So, I don't know if I would count this. I mean, I technically didn't sit down till here, so I can only count the ones from where I sat down. So this one would have been the first one, second one, third one. So we have three, and then I'll just wait until um 20 20:30. Yes, yes, yes. Um till 8:30, and then I will tally up the totals for the evening, because I definitely have to keep track of the numbers, which is one thing I always say I'm gonna do and then I don't do. Just more of me, not following through as I do. Um, but yeah, looks like gonna give us a third one. Beautiful. I really need to find a different color because I feel like this is really hard to see. Is it hard to see? It's kind of like an off gray. I can never decide on a chart color. My chart colors are constantly changing. Wow. Okay. My chart colors are constantly changing due to, some things look better. This, because it's green and red, kind of like a pinkish red, I call this strategy. Hold up, hold up. Can you even see that? This strategy is called the total watermelon package. Yes, this is called the total watermelon package. I don't know why. It just had a stupid name. Also, it was green and red with like black, so it just made sense to me. Yeah. But yeah, let's turn on some music. Well, what's happening here? Look at that drop. It was beautiful. I mean, I took profit up here somewhere where it spiked. I mean, it could have spiked down and then spiked up, but it spiked up and then it spiked down. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Lovely. Anyways, what can you do? I don't know. Bum, 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 bum. Let's just take that away. Okay. Yeah, let's just watch it. I don't know what this is doing on here, honestly. I don't really use it. So people say if you're not using the thing on the chart, it shouldn't be on the chart. And I don't know what it's doing on the chart. And that's okay. Goodness. Yeah, one time you just heard that that little ka-ching. Maybe, hopefully you heard it. It's kind of my notification because I have notifications set up for um what? So yeah, I have notifications set up for um when the colors change so that I know when I'm looking for a potential entry. And so it makes like a little ka-ching, like a little cash register sound. And one time I was on the charts and I was talking to my boyfriend and he was all like, "Oh, did you just make money?" And I was thinking to myself, I wish, but I did not. Um, it's just a little sound. But whenever I'm done with the stream, I always I'll always just close everything so I'm not tempted to come back and be like, oh, I should have done that or blah, blah. Because I will. I will. Yeah, everything's been super glitchy and slow for me lately. I don't know why, but it's okay. Couldn't be an internet thing. I don't typically have slow internet problems. Oh, wow, what the heck? Alright, I'll see if this one closes before 8:30 so I can count it as part of my thing. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't really want to stay longer. Necessary. Yeah, little potato is getting very tired. Actually, no, I feel very much awake for some odd reason. I thought I would be exhausted, but I feel very much awake right now. Oopsie. Yeah, I don't know why everything's super glitchy and slow. My laptop better not die on me, okay? I've had this laptop for like 5 years. It's still running strong. Okay, there's your win. What time is it? Okay, I still have 6 minutes. That is a beautiful wind right there. Yeah, once it decides a direction, it should just go. And I feel like sell was the direction it was looking for. Bro, what is happening to my stuff? My music. You had one job. Maybe one day I'll do a session of creating music. It's been a minute since I've done that. All right, so yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, you got 3 right there. 1, 2, 3. This one was 1, 2, 3 as well. This one was 1. This one was 1. This one doesn't count because I wasn't here. I only count the ones if I was here. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4 wins in a row today. I mean, we didn't take every one of them, but they still count. They still count because it has to go on the record. So I can do live back testing probably for like a straight month or so. Dun, 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 dun. I feel like it's OBS that's slowing things down. But that's okay. I feel like, yeah, when I start talking, it's like, hold up. We can't do all of this at once. Which is funny because I wasn't having that issue. I might need, did I update this? It's always telling me update OBS and I never do. So, yeah, it's my fault, everybody. It's okay. Another, oh, that was not another one. I was like, it created another one? No. Okay, nope. Why is the last 2 minutes so painful? Just waiting for it to be, when did I sit down? 8:30, 8:31. I mean, technically I could be done now because I just have to mark the time. Okay, let's do that. Do, 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 do. Please hold for technical difficulties. This is gonna look better How many were there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, little buddy. Okay, there were 4. And that one went insane. I want to look at this over here. Wow. Dropped. See, I said it was a holding one. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What was that little money? Oh, that was a big green. Okay, sorry. Doesn't count, doesn't count. Okay, so there were 4 trades. All right, so there were 4 trades, 4 wins, and 0 losses between, it was probably like 8, 30, no, 7, 31. Wow. Sorry, why can't I type? And why would an emoji pop up? To 8, what time is it? 8:32. Wow. Why can't I type? So that's, with 4 wins, that's how much? 4 times blah 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 blah. This is if I was doing my $200, each win is $200 without holding 0 losses. Now when I do an actual thing, it's gonna look a lot better. It's not gonna be this weird, I don't know what this is, but it's gonna probably be on a spreadsheet or something, and I might use a weekend to do that. But for now, this is what it looks like. So yeah. Could you even see that? I don't know. The words look funny and small when I look at it. But yeah, so that's the trading journal, just so that it's clear every single day. So I'm also writing in my journal, this journal, um, so that I can accurately backtest instead of being like, oh, I passed my account. The strategy must be working. But then I look back and there's like, 9 trades and 6 of them were wins, 3 of them were losses. And then this was something like, 4 trades and 2 of them were wins and 2 of them were losses. And, so I definitely need to be a little bit more, um, because then that would definitely not be winning, right? I think even if 3 of these were wins, nah, it wouldn't matter. But the point is that, we have to be able to break it all down, the data. So that's why I'm trying to keep this journal. So whenever I do my live stream, we do this at the end. So let's go back to the chart. Price obviously dropping. We were pretty sell heavy, and you could tell simply because of this. This, that, and each time we come up, we sell down very hard each time, and so that was the next time we swept above this consolidation. We even came up to there. We didn't quite sweep this, but we swept up into this consolidation. I don't even know if you could say there were some order blocks there. I don't know, and I don't really care. So, yeah, we swept up. We took a nice little profit on that sweep up, and then boop, we dropped. And there were 2 beautiful selling opportunities within that. So, yeah, that's all I have for today. And it's been a great stream, I guess. Yeah. Um and as you can see my numbers, nothing's being hidden. It's all real time and whatnot and so forth and what have you. So let's see if there were any other trades that it looks like another one's potentially forming. But yeah, once we're way below this line, we're only sell heavy. So it's better to sell up here or here. than when you're trying to sell down here, because then there's more of an opportunity for price to try to come back up here. But you don't know. We're oversold, so that stop making this sound. Okay. So yeah, we are oversold. Oh, there you can see better. So yeah, better places here and here. And there's still opportunities here and here, but the more you start taking those, the more chance you are taking a trade that's about to flip, right? Because like here, this sold down, but and it kept selling, but then it's like, okay, maybe we're at the bottom, like we just did that. So the first one, maybe the second one, but you start losing momentum in that. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, first trade's better than the second, third, fourth, etc. Although the second was pretty good. Anyways, that's all, and I will try to stop this stream with dignity and knowing what I'm doing. What the heck? Da, 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 da. Okay, not even an hour. Perfect.